Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is peace and happiness. And we're going to take a look at what peace is and what happiness is, and if they're one and the same, if one leads to the other, which one, what are we shooting for in our own evolution? All these great questions. But before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to get settled in and present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs and flowing into your bloodstream and nourishing every cell, every organ, and bringing vital life energy throughout your body and being. As you exhale any tension, any stress, any fatigue, negativity. And now let's just take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating and electrifying and energizing every molecule, every electron, all your cells, lighting them up from the inside out with this beautiful, vibrant glow. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and gently rub your fingers against your palms to feel that delicious sensation and to bring yourself present to the wonder of this sensual human experience, this experience of the senses that we are all graced to have together. So welcome. It's great to be with you as always. Maggie's here. She's just eating. Um, Here's her food jar, and there she is. She's very happily munching away here. I just put some new food in here for her, so she's picking out all her favorite things, and so she's happy. But is she at peace? So that's what we get to talk about today. Um, I think I think that in my awareness of it, in thinking about peace, um, peace to me is a more steady state. A steady state of presence. It's a more neutral state than happiness. Happiness is like, if it would be, if you were looking at a chart, happiness would be a rise in energy and an expansion or an expulsion of energy, um, where where you're expending energy, and it I see happiness kind of as peaking. I don't see happiness as an ongoing, sustainable state. I where when does happiness occur? And maybe this is a limitation of my conception, because I have to say that for the greater portion of my life, happiness wasn't really a conversation. I don't know if you guys are putting comments in the chat. Right now, I just want to let you know I'm not seeing any comments. Oh, and I see why. No, yeah, I don't. I'm not seeing any comments, and so if you're putting them in there and I'm not responding, it's only because I don't see them. So I don't know why that would be this morning. I just checked to make sure that Restream was plugged in properly, and it looks like it is. So anyway, I'll just keep rattling on, although I really love the dialogue that we get to develop in these morning conversations. So on our path to awakening, we talk about, maybe we talk about wanting to be happy, or wanting, and we talk about wanting to be peaceful. And I'm not sure that that they're the same, at least in my mind, they're really not. As I said, happiness wasn't even part of my conversation for the better part of my life. And in this conversation, I'm thinking also of the word contentment and the word, um, well, that word, there's not another word right now. So contentment and happiness and, oh, bliss. So is bliss and happiness, are bliss and happiness the same? I wonder. And I think that they're different states. I now I see a comment. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you so much for commenting. Now I know that everything's working and I'm not here out in space all by myself. So wonderful to be here with you and whoever else is watching and listening. We're talking about peace and happiness. So Elaine says no. And I'm not sure what the no is for. Is it that bliss and happiness are the same, or bliss and happiness are different? Maggie, no. She's back at the plant. For you, those of you who tune in daily, you know that Maggie is the not masked marauder, just decimating this big beautiful plant that I have in. It used to be beautiful. In the window in my office here. Maggie, no. Hold on one second. She knows that I'm going to go get her. Hold on one second. And yeah, so I don't have to go far. It's just really more the thread of going to get her. But it's a night blooming cereus, and it's a really magical plant. Look it up to see the flowers. They are absolutely magnificently spectacular and unusual, and they bloom overnight, just for one night. Um, do you check that the plant is, I'm thinking you're saying safe? Yeah, safe. She's been eating it for a while, so it seems to be safe. She's pruned it quite thoroughly. Okay, thank you, Elaine. Bliss and happiness are not the same thing. I agree. So bliss is, it's sort of an, I guess all of these emotional states are really indescribable because we just have a personal experience of it, and the words that we might use to try and discern the differences are very limited, right? They don't really capture the essence of the experience itself. But when we're thinking about a state of bliss, there's a it's a full, open-hearted connection, I think, with another dimension. At least that's how I'm imagining, or trying to convey that concept. Whereas happiness, it has to do, I think, for the most part, what I've seen about happiness is that for most people, it's circumstantial. I do believe that it's possible to create that feeling of happiness in ourselves. Um, One of the ways that I have experienced being able to do that is by choosing to laugh. And by choosing to laugh, your body is producing different chemicals, and there's this happiness thing that happens. Maggie, no. Maggie. And so, see, all I have to do now is move my chair. Sorry for the disruption, you guys. So Lisa says, I've often wondered that with grateful and thankful. And that's interesting. I don't know. recognize as much of a distinction. Maybe grateful is a receiving and thankful is a giving. Maybe that's a distinction, or not. But that's a thought. Maggie, she's so bad. She doesn't do this unless I'm online, and she knows that she can get away with it. Anyway, good morning, Dennis. Wonderful to have you here with us. And Elaine says, and peace is yet another state that is always present if one chooses to experience that state within. So that's what I'm talking about is, what are we shooting for in our, if we're in this path of awakening, are we looking for the path of peace? Are we looking to be peaceful, regardless of circumstance? Are we looking to be happy? Are we looking to be blissful? And good morning, Andrea. Welcome, welcome. Um, Lisa says, I like that, the distinction between grateful and thankful. Yes, because thankful is giving thanks, right? Grateful is gratitude, like appreciating the things that have been bestowed upon us, or the gifts that we've received. So thank you for that. Good. Um, I'm thinking, when I was thinking about happiness and peace, I know I've experienced with clients that this state of peacefulness gets boring, and to me, it's very interesting, right? That it's kind of a neutral state, this place of peace. It's like no hills and valleys. It's just peaceful, calm, serene, um, neutral in a way. And happiness, when I think of happiness, I think of bubbly, energetic emotion that sort of bubbles over, right? And there's a lot more energy, um, active energy in happiness, at least my way of thinking. And I'm wondering, please challenge this, or uh, chime in with your perspective on this. This isn't fact by any stretch of the imagination. This is just me trying to sort through these things with you guys. So Elaine says, bliss for me is natural state of joy that is knowing one is free from the mind. So maybe, if we were going to make a scale, Elaine, with peace and bliss, I'm thinking that bliss is this more, um, is infused with even more energy than peace. And it's different from happiness. Like the energy of bliss, I imagine being like this elevated hum, whereas the energy of happiness, I imagine being this effervescent, um, twinkling of chimes, maybe. Whereas bliss is this really rich harmonic hum, maybe. I don't know. Does that connect for you guys? And good morning, Isabel. And good morning, Tammy. It's great to be here with you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I had a minute or two in the beginning today by myself, and I was like, oh, wow, where did everybody go? So it's great to be here with you and sharing this time together. And I love, love, love your input. So Elaine says there's a difference between the experience from the mind and the experience from the heart. Yes. Okay. Beautiful, Elaine. So maybe what we're talking about is maybe happiness is in the mind, and this joyful bliss is in the heart. And so different different frequencies. And, I find it kind of fun and entertaining to be thinking about these different emotions as sound, to maybe represent them with the notion of sound, or maybe to represent them with the notion of color even, although I'm not sure how I would do that. Color for me is really delicious. Like the richness of color can be so um, satiating, satisfying on a gustatory level for me sometimes. Just like, that is so delicious, and literally feeds my soul. But in terms of these emotions like joy, or the joy of bliss, or the bliss of joy versus happiness, um, I it's interesting to me because I've actually had, this is a true confession, I've had a bias around happiness, like somebody who's always happy all the time. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know, they're they're first of all, I don't really know anybody who's always happy all the time, but I know a couple people who are generating this happiness a lot, and it makes me wonder. I this is just a weird bias that I've had, and I recognize it makes me wonder, like, how authentic that is. To be always in this energetic state. So I was speaking with somebody yesterday who was talking about having been at an event where there were lots of people, and the first day, it was a multi-day event, and the first day of the event they were hanging out with these people who were super super energized, and it was really cool, for a while. And then on the second day it was like, whoa, like, I can't handle Maggie gets it, that level of energy, like, to be expelling, expending, experiencing that level of energy all the time is exhausting, at least for me. So I wonder if you have similar experience, and this happiness thing, it's like this effervescent energy, but to be maintaining that level of output all the time, I can just imagine being absolutely exhausting. Whereas with peace, or with bliss, maybe it is the distinct, it's coming from this place of like a constancy, a constant thrumming vibration that is an emanation without the exertion. And again, this is all made up in my head. I don't know if you agree or you don't agree, but um, Rosalind says peace is calmness or stillness, like when Maggie isn't eating the plant. Happiness is joy, Maggie, and being with you at all brings me joy. That's beautiful, beautiful, Rosalind. Thank you so much for that. Um, I'm wondering if you're making, in what you're saying here, you're not really making a distinction between happiness and joy. So maybe they are one and the same for you. Um, I these are concepts I'm playing with because, like I said, for most of my life, happiness wasn't even part of my vocabulary. It wasn't something on my radar. It was something quite foreign, and so um, Lisa says it comes from within. I agree. I agree. So um, it's really interesting because I can say that I'm peaceful, but I don't know that I would say that I'm happy. You know, I'm not unhappy, but I'm not feeling necessarily um, a persistent state of joy while I'm in that more persistent state of peace. So for me anyway, I recognize a distinction. You know, I find joyfulness in our communication. I really enjoy our time together. Um, but I have moments of joy. I have moments of happiness too. And I have more persistent peacefulness. And you see, I'm drawing this straight line, like a place of balance, a place of continuity, of consistency, of evenness, you know, peacefulness, non-reactivity, you know, being able to be present, a state of presence, like there's a neutrality. So I know we've talked a lot about being reactive or being able to be present, to be able to integrate what the environment or our circumstances are requiring or calling for, rather than reacting, right? So to be able to act rather than react. Good morning, Abdullah Fatah. Oh wow! Abdullah Fatah says, "Join me in joy and happiness as I welcome my baby boy. Mother and baby are fine. Congratulations! How beautiful! Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, that's a moment of joy and happiness. That's beautiful, beautiful and profound. Wonderful to be sharing that with you." Elaine says, "For me, peace, joyful bliss, balance, harmony is always present." Well, Elaine, you are one of few walking the planet holding that experience, and bless you for that. And you bring it here and share it with us on a daily basis, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's grateful for that. uh, Elaine continues, "It's our natural state. There's no effort, it just is. The true power of presence is to know, is known to all. And we know if true presence is not felt as well, something to notice for sure." Well, like I said, you bring it on a daily basis. So you have my appreciation for that. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And Christina says, "Kind of like those joyful moments are frosting on an already delicious cake." So those moments of joyfulness are frosting on an already delicious cake that's happiness. And everybody is congratulating Abdullah Fatah. Absolutely. You know, what a wonderful place to share such a joyful celebration. That's really beautiful. And I feel very honored that you shared that with us here. And I'm sure that it will be an experience with your new soul in your family that will be enriching beyond your imagination. So, congratulations. So, joy, happiness, peace, bliss. Um, I do you experience that it's possible to have peace without happiness? You know, or is that peace happiness? You know, to have that even flow, because I've recognized I've recognized moments in my life where I'm peaceful. You know, everything is peaceful. I'm peaceful. There's not the highs and lows. There's more this evenness and not what I would experience as this bubbly, or what I would identify as this bubbly happiness. And I'm wondering if I'm unusual in that respect, you know, that I am not aware particularly that I'm happy, or and I'm not unhappy. I'm just neutral. I'm peaceful. And I've noticed that lately. Um, and I think the blissfulness. Yes. So Christina says, contentment seems more like peace for me. Yes. So, well, hmm. I wonder, are contentment and peace the same? You know, like, can we have contentment without being complacent? So, um, Elaine says, please note I started this journey at 24 and now at 61 and still unfolding as my heart continues to grow, to open beyond my mind. Well, Elaine, it's been a lifetime journey for you. It's been a lifetime journey for me as well. I have a few more years in it than you do, actually. But you know, I'm not in that. I couldn't say that I'm in a state of perpetual bliss and joy. You know, I can say that I have a peacefulness overall in my life um, that I certainly didn't have for for a lot of it. You know, yeah, that, like, there's this. So Rosalind says content is neutral. Content is neutral. Yes, yes. So contentment. Let me just take a sip here. I think it's really interesting to be looking more deeply into these feelings, because if we look at the universe, things are as they are, right? And we don't actually get to see into the truth of things due to our filters. As we evolve and awaken, those filters fall away more and more and allow us to be present. And that presence is is kind of neutral. It's just like, it's not, there's not good, there's not bad, there's not better, there's not worse, there's just, there's neutral, right? There is what is. And then I guess what you're talking about, Elaine, is that there's the ever presence of the connection to spirit, to the life energy, that, as I imagine that connection, the visceral experience of it is that inherent joy and bliss. So Elaine says, people get upset because I'm always happy or joyful. I love that, as it was not always the case. Well, I think it's beautiful. I mean, you're there. Maybe there is that place where we get to be so completely present that all that's left is that vital energy of life that is experienced as that perpetual experience of joy and happiness. I and so my judgment, like my confession here, is that happiness, constant, a perpetual state of happiness was superficial. And I think that in certain respects, it has been like I've seen people sort of put on a happy face and it was superficial and it wasn't real. And that there's this other dimension of joyful bliss or blissful happiness that is coming from a deeply connected presence, and like a deep oneness with the vitality of life. So, like everything, there's more than one side to it, right? So Lisa says, I also have found peace in my life. I've learned to roll, not to fall or even break. Then I can continue to walk in my peace because I'm a survivor. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. I think it does. Where this place of peace is not, the ultimate place of peace is not circumstantial. It's not based on circumstances. And the Isabel says, yes, the vitality helps. Yes. So like the I guess if we break it down to frequency, I know in the book Power versus Force, they break down a hierarchy of emotions based on frequency. And I think that I don't know how that breaks down. I don't have it in my mind. But just the concept of breaking down these emotions based on frequency, it's pretty interesting. So I make a distinction between joy and happiness, but I don't know if it's a legitimate distinction. It occurs to me to look it up in the dictionary. Not like that's definitive, but let's see what it says about joy and happiness. I'm just really curious now. So let's find joy. They probably define each other, is my guess, but we'll see. Um, Hold on. I'm looking up joy, and we'll see. My phone is doing really weird. Okay, there it is. Here. So joy, the emotion of great delight or happiness. Like we said, I figured it would be used in the definition. My phone is doing some strange things. Okay, the emotion of, hold on. It's just giving me a really hard time today. How about that? I'm going to try again. And anyway, it looks like the dictionary is not making the distinction between joy and happiness. So let's see if it's going to help us out here. I'll just try one more time. And let's see if it works. Okay. So, joy, here we go. The emotion of great delight or happiness caused by something exceptionally good or satisfying, keen pleasure, elation. So, joy is caused, or happiness is caused, according to this, which is really interesting. And then the second definition is a source or cause of keen pleasure or delight. That's as a noun, something someone greatly valued or appreciated. The expression or display of glad feeling festive gaiety, a state of happiness or felicity. So that's joy. And I'm guessing happiness is also going to be defined by the word joy. Let's just look. And it's taking its time. And happiness is the quality or state of being happy. Good fortune, pleasure, contentment, joy. So all these words that we've been playing with, they are defining each other in the dictionary. And so maybe the distinctions that we make are our own distinction. But that we are making machines, right? That's our job in the world. So Isabel says it feels more not allowing it getting in, therefore neutral. I think you're talking about peace, right, Isabel? And Elaine, let's see. I read what Elaine said. Hold on one second. And then Elaine says, there's a state of joyfulness and there is no effort. It's a true presence and nothing to prove. That's awesome. That's awesome. I look forward to experiencing that at some point. To just actually, I have experienced moments of it, I think, but where there's just this blissful happiness. But for me, it's been fleeting, I have to say. Rosalind says the cause could be from overcoming suffering or pain. What is the opposite of happiness? Well, usually we think the opposite of happiness is sadness, but I don't know if that's really true. It's a great question, Rosalind. Always good thought-provoking comments and questions, you guys. Elaine says, true presence lifts all by doing nothing, just being in honor of all life through the feeling of aliveness in the now. So there we're going back to the notion of pure life force, pure energy, that is that state of bliss. And I think that it does come down to the heart and a state of rich open-heartedness. And I loved the distinction made between head and heart. It's very interesting to me. This has been such a great conversation. It's thought-provoking for me anyway, to be looking at what is presence, what is peacefulness, what is joy, what is happiness, what is bliss, what is contentment. So this has been a lot of fun. And I'm not sure I have answers. What I recognize is that that there's more to experience, and what a wonderful thing that is, right? That there's more. And greater richness even. And so I think I'm going to call it a day today. I want to say thank you for being here with me. And today is Wednesday, so at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have the sustainability hour with me and Maggie on One with the Earth, which is the new Enlightened World Network channel. And it would be awesome if you join me. I think what I'm going to try to do today is share a wonderful short video done by a man named Zach Bush, who is a triple board certified medical doctor who he's connected the dots of so many of the factors that are impacting our planet and our health. And I think it'll be really, really, really worthwhile. This video is brilliant, and it'll give us an opportunity to be talking about glyphosate and soil and autism and health and how all these things connect. So I hope you'll join me. That's on One with the Earth on the Enlightened World Network channel at 1 p.m. today. And Lisa says, Sharon Stone just wrote a book, Two Lives, maybe? But she had a stroke and then was given a second try to do it better. That's how I feel. I've been through major illness, and my boss comes from making the best of everything. I don't think you mean, oh, my bliss. Thank you. My bliss comes from making the best of everything. And congratulations to you, Lisa, to have been given a second chance that you have made great use of, to use the things that have been your challenges. And hopefully we all do this, to use the things that have been our greatest challenges to become our greatest strengths and our greatest triumphs. So anyway, that's it for today. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you again. And please join me at 1 p.m. Eastern this afternoon and check out all the other wonderful programming on Enlightened World Network. And until next time, be in your bliss. So much